Really? 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 Where is? You're not it, are you? There we go. Fuck. Damn it. All right. I need the multi-stream thing, don't I? Sure I do. What is it? Multi-chat. Yeet. Fucking Steam, bro. You're so fucking stupid. Steam is so ass. Bah. I think it looks good. We're in there like swimmer. For sure skis. Why is it such a pain in the ass to fucking do all this stuff? What do I mean? Pain in the ass. Oh, there we go. That's a little better. Do it like that. Let's do. That sounds nice. Fuck yeah, sounds good. Energy. Fucking suck right now, energy. Damn it, bro. I need to like fucking practice scales again for a bit. Get my fucking dexterity back. You wanna read my prompt? I'm okay playing the guitar. Music's kind of like a personal journey, you know? So being good is like really relative to what you practice and what kind of music you like. If you catch my drift. Like I don't think I'd be very good at like classical guitar right now, but I don't think a classical guitarist would be very good at metalcore. I finished my thing actually. You want me to link it to you? I actually want people to proofread it. You want to read what I wrote? One sec. Put it in chat. The intro is what I'm gonna. The main argument, the origin part, is my intro. That's what I'm gonna be using. It took me a while. I overthink my writing a lot, so. And then I don't know, near the middle, I tried to put in like a as you can tell, I like music a lot, so I put in like a little musical terminology so I can bring someone back if they're a little bored by that point. Blue. Yeah, I think the opposing argument for this one, man, the prompt is impossible. That's just my personal opinion. I could actually argue on reform for the electoral college, but just the prompt is very like damning. Like there's really nothing there. You can't just like fucking institute pure democracy like this. If the prompt was we should, not just replace with pure democracy, maybe they'd have, it wouldn't be so narrow they could actually argue something. But like as it is, the prompt is impossible. I think. I don't know why anyone would accept it. Personally, that's just my opinion, though. It's not like this is a very old talked about a topic, right? It's just I don't know. Ooh, that's long. Look at that reverb, bro. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Send the one that you want me to watch again. The Nisam Talib one was better than the Leonard Peikoff for sure. I think that's the one I was doing some econometrics review on with, right? That one I think was much better.
And then I have Mathematica Untitled 2. Okay. And I do the window magnification 150%.
It'll probably be okay. Yeah, 150%.
Okay, 150%. Let's try that. Okay, so let me do it in Mathematica, and let's do the following. All right. Let's say here I have PDF. Okay, normal distribution. Normal distribution. Okay, it's mu and sigma. Let's say mu is 0, and sigma, let's say, is 1.1. Okay, 10% higher.
Okay.
X plus PDF normal distribution 0.9.
Yeah. Schumpeter has his own school of economics named after him. The Schumpeterian school, and then there's the Neo-Schumpeterian school. Yeah. His ideas, unfortunately, he thought that technology would end up stagnating, right? As in, like, it was a false route, though, and it never ended up becoming a reality. Here, I actually have a little bit of a literature on this. One sec. I'm not remembering it that well. The Schumpeterian school is kind of a lesser known school, so I'd expect that from you, though, because you definitely seem like you like deep cuts, my friend. You don't seem like a superficial kind of guy. It's just what I'm getting from you. Oh, it's an EPUB, that's right. Fuck me. Damn it. Yeah, he has an argument against antitrust. Oh shit, not this one. Where is it? God, every time I open this, there's an update. Can we just fucking do the updates better? Shumturian. Actually, should be page like 132 or something like that. What the fuck is it? Here it is, yeah. 100 and yeah, around here. If you want this book, I can send it to you. This is a Ha-Joon Chang book, the guy who made 23 Things You Don't Know About Capitalism, right? But he has this economics user guide book, which I think is fantastic. Okay, it's fantastic. Because it's kind of he's a pluralist, kind of like me, and he does a good job, I think, of really dumbing or like reducing these concepts in economics down to a very simple method, and then explain strengths and weaknesses, right? So the main schools in economics, Shumturian is one of them. Austrian's definitely one of them against antitrust. So I'm referring to this really fast because my memory is not remembering that well. So let's head down to what he says about it again, so I can get a refresher. Okay. I haven't gotten this book yet, by the way. Capitalism, Socialism, Democracy. I should get that. Yeah. So I remember his technological takes where he thought that innovation and technology would stagnate. I think is what he said. So Schumpeter developed Marx's emphasis on the role of technological development as a driving force of capitalism. He argued that capitalism develops through innovations by entrepreneurs, which I think has been proven to be wrong. I just don't know how you could actually say this when it can, but more often than not, it's not. Innovation is not driven by capitalism, mainly driven by efficient use of money. I don't think capitalism is the root here. I mean, the United States government and the military has shown, I think, very confidently how this is just not true. But it's not like capitalism can't. And then I think he talks about the antitrust thing here in a second. Competitors imitate innovations, forcing everyone's profit down. And he was very wary of monopolies, right? I think this ties into his antitrust views, right? But I don't think he doesn't say antitrust in here, obviously, but like he was very wary of powerful corporate entities, right? That's kind of I think that he would advocate for antitrust measures. To be fair, though, I think most people would be okay with some idea of antitrust. Reasonable people, right? I mean, we've done it before, and it did work out pretty well, at least so far as we know. Also, what do you think of this? Do you think it was? Do you have any feedback for me? If you do, it's okay if you don't.
X. Okay, you do that.
Uh-huh.
1/2.
It's Bar Unicam. Thank you.
Okay, and actually I can let me do this.
I tend to overdo when I write. Is all I'm gonna say.
Let me do this, and so
I took a mix of. I took something out of my own writing actually for this. I have something I wrote a long time ago called "One for All for One." This part, this whatever, and wow, it's really hard to read. When it's this fucking font, isn't it? Jesus Christ. That's not that hard. Okay. I took out this part right here. In the U.S., we have existed within a predominantly liberal democracy, a harmony of individuals that recognize freedom to and freedom from. In the schism, morality, I thought I could actually fit this into my little argument here, and I did. I put it at the end of paragraph 3, but I changed it to be more musical because I think I obviously I love music, and I feel like I can resonate the words in music nomenclature pretty well when I start writing to it. So that doesn't make sense. A lot of things don't have a clear consumer choice. And a lot of things, unfortunately, man, need regulation. So, for instance, something like cell phone service. Companies don't really like to spend money, and I have experience with this, okay? Companies don't really like to spend money on things like upkeep if they don't need a plan for it. So, like, whoa. You're jumping here. You're jumping. Hey, go backwards. Back up. Back up. That's one product. One product. What else has caused the iPhone to dominate than just being, I guess, a good phone? Because energy. Is the iPhone noticeably different now than any other smartphone? What it actually keeps the iPhone and Apple in control? This isn't just an iPhone market, man. If you are an app, which is a major new innovation in technology, right? You have to pay. Like Snapchat paid Apple money to essentially make it so their camera worked well. Do you remember when Samsung couldn't like run Snapchat because they don't have the App Store, and Snapchat literally paid money for it to work well through the Apple iPhone, right? That is far more complex than just simply iPhone market inefficient. These are all things that will come together and essentially like allow for the monopoly to happen. So if you wanted to be an app that actually, if you wanted to be seen or any of that shit, Apple monopolized the application market. It's slowly gotten better, but Apple essentially like abused anyone who was a developer who wanted to make an application, forcing you to essentially use an iPhone. Has nothing to do with the phone, actually. It's kind of crazy. All those are ancillary. They're not even about making a better phone. In fact, Apple probably stopped spending money on making a better phone because now they just every year they're like, camera's slightly higher megapixel, it can cost anything. What they actually spend money on is making sure that you can't leave, because they made iMessages where iPhones can only talk to iPhones on Wi-Fi. And they made it so if you weren't an iPhone, you got a different color. And then that made it fucking divisive for some reason. To this day, bro. If remember when I was younger. And how you doing, man? The debate topic is this. This is my prompt here. People to this day, 10 years ago, when I was on Tinder, you know, as a young man, a fucking hyper slut, if like girls would be like, "Oh, I'm so thankful you're not green." Like, just think about that for a second. I do believe this is the case, energy, when we're talking about simple commodities. So, like my shirt here, right? Which, by the way, even clothing. Yeah, green bubble text blocked. It's just like we're not talking about just a market for a phone here, man. So it's not. This is the problem that Milton Friedman had, by the way, is that his substitutions for his preferences and his parameter were just like unimaginably not human. I just like when someone goes and buys clothing, the average person, yeah, I mean, if I see $60 pants online for work, I'm probably going to buy the $30 pants. Those are easily substitutable, right? But when we're talking about like the style or fashion that someone wants to go out with, suddenly those $60 pants aren't substitutable for $30 ones. Not even close, because you're looking for something that you need or want, an ideal, and most of the time you don't even get it. You don't have enough information to make sure to make the right decision, so you just end up buying a bunch of different pairs of pants, returning like 3 of them. But what you don't do is easily substitute to something cheaper. That is just, unfortunately, I think it fails to understand the way the human mind works. Because if this were true, the way people buy cars would be drastically different. People would fucking, you know how your grandparents used to be like, I used to go through the consumers fucking thing every day, and you know, to check to see the best SUV, and that's where I would buy from. And it's like, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's rationality and cognitive biases are a factor in that, right? But to assume substitution, so substitution in economics is something that needs to be parameterized, right? In a model. And this is a very important piece of any model. It's essentially what you're saying, but I find that a lot of really out of touch individuals who think that you can math your way out of this really just don't want to include psychology. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want me to watch this one. But this is one of the main problems with like the Austrian school assumes that substitution happens because we don't know all the information, right? The neoclassical school assumes we have like, you know, if Coca-Cola is a cent more, we fucking buy Pepsi. Like, no, you fucking retard. People get like addicted to Coca-Cola taste. It could go up $1 more before it really starts impacting it compared to Pepsi. It's just they don't know how to think about this in a psychological way. They just like look at it like it's a fucking calculus problem all the time. That's essentially what Milton Friedman did and a lot of supply and demand law motherfuckers, okay? Because the truth is like people buy $200,000 fucking Mercedes without even knowing the name of the engine in it, okay? Like an S580. People buy this stupid fucking car and they don't even know that it has a fucking V12 bi-turbo engine in it. Or it has a V8 now, I guess. I don't own the car, so it doesn't matter. But people buy this car without even fucking knowing a single thing about it. There is nothing rational about that. You know what's irrational about it, though? It looks nice, I guess. I mean, it's not that much different from like an E450 or a C. But the S right there, that little S badge, makes people feel really warm inside for some reason. That's for fucking sure. So when it comes to something like the iPhone, you have to remember that you're not really just buying just an iPhone, okay? You are buying an ecosystem now. There's an iCloud account. So even if Apple did end up making a worse phone and let's say the Pixel overtook it, what if someone's entire life is on iCloud now? Companies have tried to adapt to this by making it so you can cleanly swap the information, but Apple actively tries to negate that by making it more difficult every fucking year. So it's not like inefficiencies in the market will ever be just completely ironed out by private alone, because unfortunately, unregulated markets, unlimited freedom and this is a tale as old as time, unlimited freedom does not result in more freedom. It is, for my argument here, I did write about this actually. So in my opening statement here that I'm going to make, I do write something here where it says, where is it? Fuck, where did I write? It should be around this part. Yeah, right here. So my music part. I write that, and in this diminution, which by the way, a diminution is a point in a piece, like a movement of a song, a classical song, where it gets very tiny. So like only one instrument's kind of playing. It's a moment of interlude of radical like reduction in swelling or noises. Okay, it's like a drone. And I write that there's a powerful temperance in that because a song and a movement in a classical song or just songs in general need to have some space. It's very important to like include every single voice in songs, in my opinion. So every voice that may swell loudly is uniquely aware of the dance, this cadence, and in total deference, which means it's give way, you yield. The softest voice is more powerful than that of the entire movement. And I say a harmony of individuals that recognize freedom to and freedom from. So unlimited freedom in the way that we're thinking of right now is called freedom from. And this plays on Martin Berliner's or what's his name? Freedom from. Timothy Snyder has a book on this too, but freedom from and freedom to are from Berliner, if I'm not mistaken. This guy. What the fuck is his name? Martin or something like that. Negative liberty. This guy. Isaiah Berlin. My bad. So the two concepts of liberty is what I'm referring to. Yeah. And I don't know why I couldn't remember the fucking name. But positive liberty and negative liberty, right? Freedom from, freedom to. It's just I think it's a different way to say it. I think people don't like the word negative. That's why. And people get stuck, okay, on one of them. And that's the problem. They get stuck on this one, the negative liberty. I want freedom from things. I want freedom from the government. I want freedom from tyranny. I want freedom from other people. I want freedom from totalitarianism. I want it's you need both, but the positive liberty part is that whoever's in control or can interfere, as in if there is unlimited freedom, who has the ability to actually just reduce the freedom then? It's essentially like it says here, self-mastery. So positive freedom is still necessary. And this really doesn't expand on I guess why don't we even have like Timothy Snyder here, by the way. Timothy Snyder has a good book on this, by the way. And a good talk on this too. I think Timothy Snyder has done probably a good expansion of this. This is a Yale expert on Eastern European Holocaust and World War II studies, if I'm not mistaken. He's pretty popular, if I'm not mistaken. He's like a very well-known academic, but that doesn't mean he's not good. He is good. He's good at what he does, in my opinion. Where the fuck? Thought I was looking up Timothy Snyder and his thing. He has a few talks that I've listened to that I think are pretty good. This one right here. This one's very digestible, so I'll go to your video and start watching it, and you can add this to your list if you want. But I have his book. I read his book as well, the one that he's on tour for this, and I think it's good. I think it's good.
Feeling of an emotion is a
Big
process
thing.
that is distinct from having
an old
the
one.
emotion in the first place. So in order to understand what is an emotion, what is a feeling, we need to understand what is an emotion. And an emotion is the execution of a very complex program of actions. Some actions that are actually movements, like movement that you can do, change your face, for example, in fear, or movements that are internal, that happen in your heart or in your gut, and movements that are actually not muscular movements, but rather releases of molecules, say, for example, in the endocrine system into the bloodstream. But it's movement and action in the broad sense of the term. And an emotion consists of a very well orchestrated set of alterations in the body that has as a general purpose making life more survivable by taking care of a danger or taking care of an opportunity, either or something in between. And it's something that is set in our genome and that we all have with a certain programmed nature that is
I don't like that word. I don't like that word there. What do you think about that so far, energy? I'm getting a real top-down feeling here. The thing is like genetic expression and genetics in general is driven by mutation, right? Or at least the thing in the driving seat is mutation. I wouldn't say it's driven by mutation, but the thing that's steering the wheel, probably, I think a good analogy would be mutation. And I feel like it's a little reductionist, a little too computer programming to be like, it's certainly programmed. Certain program nature is a little intense of a confident phrase.
It is modified by our experience.
Which means it would not be certainly programmed.
So individually we have variations on the pattern, but
and they just stop while we're alive?
In essence, your emotion of joy and mine are going to be extremely similar.
Tell that to a psychotic serial killer.
We
Pretty sure we now understand that that dude gets a sense of joy from stabbing the the Dahlia
may
girl like a
express them
million times.
physically slightly differently.
Is that the part where they're different?
It's of course graded depending on the circumstance, but the essence of the process is going to be the same, unless
I know he's referring to the average person, but like neurotypical people, right? I hate all of this behind this phrase. Certain program nature.
programmed nature
It just implies no modification.
that is modified by
I just
our
I hate it.
so in variations on
I
the
hate it.
pattern, but in essence, your emotion of joy and mine are going to be extremely similar. We may express them physically slightly differently, and it's of course graded depending on the circumstance, but the essence of the process is going to be the same, unless one of us is not quite well put together and is missing something. Otherwise, it's going to be the same. And it's going to be the same across even other species. You know, there's we may smile and the dog may wag the tail, but in essence, we have a set program, and those programs are similar across individuals in the species. Then the feeling is actually a portrayal of what is going on in the organism when you're having an emotion. So it's really the next thing that happens. If you have just an emotion, you would not necessarily feel it. To feel an emotion, you need to represent.
Physically? Represent it physically? Have it born? I think Inception plays a big part in this, like your own feeling like it's your own thought.
In the brain, in structures that are actually different from the structures which lead to the emotion, what is going on in the organism when you're having the emotion. So you can define it very simply as the process of perceiving what is going on in the organism when you are in the throes of an emotion. And that is achieved by a collection of structures, some of which are in the brainstem and some of which are in the cerebral cortex, namely the insular cortex, which I like to mention, not because I think it's the most important. It's not, I actually don't think it's the number one structure
I don't really think you can say there's a number one structure. Right?
controlling our feelings, but I like to mention it because it's something that people.
I mean, realistically, even the sensation of touch, your skin, right? Touching off your skin is like something that can induce whatever he's talking about from that organ in your brain, right? The insular, I don't know. I'm not a neuro fucking scientist. But wouldn't that be just as important as the actual thing that induces the emotion? I'm not sure. Without the skin, without the feeling, I mean, you probably wouldn't feel that emotion then.
Didn't really
I feel like it'd be really hard to pin it down to like a single thing.
know about. And many years ago, which probably now are going close to 20 years ago, I thought that the insula would be an important platform for feelings. That's where I started. And there was
Probably is very central.
a hypothesis, and turns out that the hypothesis is perfectly correct. And 10 years ago, we had the first experiments that showed that it was indeed so. And since then, countless studies have shown that when you're having feelings of emotion or feelings of a variety of other things, the insula is active. But it
Okay.
doesn't mean that it's the only thing that is active. And there are other structures that are very important as well.
Complex.
Well, you see, emotion
Emotion is how we stay tied to our decisions and opinions. It's very important. So you feel like you're doing something with a feel, like there's a feeling behind what you're doing. Emotion is how you come to ideology. It's how you keep ideology. It's how you have conviction in things.
very often when you think about how you react to the world, something is happening to you.
Okay. No.
You're simply going along and you're being confronted by different things, not necessarily very important or significant for your ultimate life, but you are constantly reacting to the world. You're thinking about the world and you're acting on the world. And emotions are engaged when the stakes outside of your organism are fairly high in positive or negative directions. And this, of course, comes from ancient times in biology when you were constantly being subject to potential threats and to potential opportunities. The threats were obvious, for example, predation, or inclement weather, or physical environments where you would be like having a precipice or a hole on the ground. The opportunities are also very easy to see. They would have fundamentally to do with food and with sex. And so the emotions were placed there in evolution as incredibly smart devices that, rather than having you think through the problem, would deliver a solution and make sure that you would act right. It's in a way a contribution to a sort of autopilot that we've inherited through all these millions of years of evolution. So if there is an opportunity, emotion is going to make sure that you, at some level, know that it's there and that you're going to have the tendency to act on it. And if there is a threat, you're going to be alerted to it. And even before you're alerted to the threat as such, you're going to be placed in circumstances that are likely to make you either freeze or run away from the danger. Okay? So this is a level of response to the world that is automated. It's largely non-conscious. I mean, it happens non-conscious. Then you take consciousness of it, because once it's happening, once you start feeling what is happening and connecting the feeling to what you're perceiving, then you realize, haha, there's the danger, or haha, here's the next lunch. And so there's a level in which you have a way in which the entire process then is made conscious and enters your mind flow. Even at this level, you can see that the influence on one's behavior is astounding. and it's by and large extremely useful. It has, of course, its downsides because you may be responding to things that you better not respond to, either on the negative or positive side, and that you should not take the bait. You should not, for example, fall for every opportunity, and you should not allow yourself to be made angry, for example, or fearful when there is no cause for it. But there is a way in which, by and large, the influence is very positive. And then the experiences of emotion also have a way of modeling what you're going to do next, because unlike, say, a squirrel, is not
You say squirrel? Why do you say it like that? A squirrel.
to think much about his or her experiences of emotion. We do, and we have, because we
That's
have
funny.
feelings, because those feelings can actually stay in memory in terms of the elaborations that we make about the feelings, for example, using language, then we have a possibility of using feelings of certain emotions for future planning, and that makes a huge difference. So for a little animal that doesn't have much mind and no advanced planning, it's a way of
God,
keeping.
I write like such a fucking moron sometimes. Sometimes when I read my writing, I'm just like, why am I talking like this? God damn, bro.
alive. For animals like us,
Where's
it's
that
a
old-
way of keeping alive some.
Another
You
debate.
see hear me,
with this
Nick?
guy? Oh my god.
I do.
Okay, we have to join the other Discord room with
Okay.
These two fucking retards are still relevant. Oh man. Is that real?
with Dean.
Aren't both of these dudes just fucking like losers? I just don't get it.
Okay.
So how you feeling tonight? You good?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited.
Dude, it's actually like a pleasure to talk to you, bro.
Likewise, good to talk to you too.
He does have aura.
Let's go.
What?
You have aura.
Thank you, bro. Wait, hold on. What's that? Oh shit. Shit. I got it. Well, we're gonna. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna invite you to this room. Don't leak it. All right.
Oh yeah. I just critique everything, but I feel like that man was not a guru. Sounded like he presented himself fairly well, and his ideas seemed very good. I didn't like the phrase that he used, but I mean, I think if I had the ability to talk to him about it for like 2 seconds, he would absolutely address the concern I have with it in like 2 seconds,
All right.
Okay.
and probably make me feel stupid for it.
Glaze off, right?
I do notice that a lot of he's such a fucking boy, yeah. A lot of conscious argument people, you know. I feel like what's that dude who like thinks left brain, right brain? What the fuck is his name? God, what the fuck is his name? Where he's just like so sure, bro. He just cannot let it go that it's probably not what it is. Dr. Ian McGilchrist, this guy. It's like his entire life he's tried to prove that very idea, and it's not really coming to fruition anymore, and he's getting close to dying, and he's just on the fucking rock. It's what it is. You know, it's just like, God, man. It's okay. It's okay, dude. Sorry, your life's work didn't amount to fucking figuring out if left brain, right brain are different.
Not.
But he's like uncritically and like just will not accept
My boy Dean got
the fact that the brain is extremely complex. Right?
too.
So I feel like there are a few really educated and intelligent people who can't come to the reality that like they probably won't get it in their lifetime, but they will not show that in their work.
All right, 1 second here.
So they become gurus. Even if they do, like Ian McGilchrist, if I'm not mistaken, contributed quite a bit to the field, and even to art or like neurosurgery. I can't remember. It was something pretty impressive, right? and it's just poisoned kind of the rest of his fucking material, I think.
What's up, Dean?
What's going on, Aiden? How you doing?
Good, brother. How are you?
Dude, I'm doing all right. I'm a little bit nervous. I've had Knicks fans on the Twitter account. They're a little bit wild.
Hey,
Hey, Samurai.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
what's up? I'm good. How you doing?
Hey, Samurai, do you want to read my argument? I can send it to you if you want. My intro for tonight. Tell me if it sucks. I'm gonna whisper it to you. There you go. The intro is page 2.
Doing all right. It's a good night.
Let's have a great
Yes, it
time.
is.
Despite, Dean, it's a pleasure to meet you, man. Despite whatever I believe in, you know, like I said, I believe in a couple of your guys' points for certain topics. Me and Sneeko are gonna hold our ground and be as neutral as possible.
Cool. Sounds good. I appreciate
Cool.
y'all for that.
Sneeko, Dean, by the way, Dean, Sneeko, you're not gonna be able to see him because we're kind of reacting over you. But here, I'll turn my camera on for a quick second. You could meet us face to face. This is Sneeko.
What's going on, man?
What's going on, dude? I was a little bit disappointed to hear that the debate between you and me wasn't happening, but you know, here we are nonetheless. It's good to meet you.
I didn't even hear about that. I didn't know that was confirmed.
I told you it was.
There was never confirmed.
I literally told you it was. I have the texts.
Show me.
You want to see the text?
Yeah.
Well, it was over FaceTime, actually.
I don't know too much about you. We saw some of your Jubilee video, but I've heard good things about your debating.
But Aiden told me that you like agreed to the topics.
No, I didn't.
Okay. I must have.
I'm angling a debate towards Ethan Klein and Hasanabi right now. But if it makes sense, it makes sense. You know, I'll debate anybody.
Okay.
Today
All right.
we'll be
all right.
moderating. I moderate debates pretty frequently, so I'm gonna stay neutral. Obviously, like I've known Nick for quite some time, but yeah, we don't want to come off biased at all. We're gonna keep it fair and make sure that
Okay, Sneeko
we can
says Sneeko.
cover all the topics.
Cool. Sounds good.
Why is he even there, bro? This dude. Why is he there?
Nick, your
Yeah,
webcam
Nick,
is not
let's get your
loaded.
camera
I'm
right.
His head looks like a basketball.
trying to get set up here. Give me one sec.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how I can
His head literally be a
do this
basketball.
here.
Why do you keep
Dude, I see Aiden giving you that side eye. I'm not gonna lie, that's crazy.
It's because there's sexual tension.
Okay. Word, got it.
All right. I guess I'll
Who said that?
just do it like this. My audience won't be able to see, but maybe I'll just.
All right, I'll let you guys. You guys go ahead and introduce each other.
What is this chaotic stream setup, by the way?
Take it.
Why is his fucking thing not like uniform with this? I fucking can't
Get away,
handle
Nick.
that, dude.
You got it first.
Like,
Hang
my
on.
boxes need to be
One's
like
lost.
nice and neat. You know, I can't fucking do that.
Okay.
Fix it.
I guess while he's figuring that out, I'll go ahead and give an introduction of myself to everyone watching. I am Dean Withers. I am a 20-year-old liberal. I really enjoy I enjoy politics. I enjoy debate, and I started streaming on TikTok about a year and a half ago.
I don't want any of these viewers,
Yap in my mouth to maybe a
bro.
crowd of 30 people, and here we are.
Man, I'm gonna have to. How much anti-Nazi shit do you need me to engage with?
A year and a half later, on a debate stage on Aiden Ross's stream,
Hang on, but
Nick
then this
Fuentes.
will be.
All right,
So-
thank you, Dean.
My
gonna be a fun
fucking
night, guys.
hands hurt.
Thank you
bro.
very much. It is gonna be a fun one. We're just waiting for Nick, and then we'll let Nick introduce himself, and then
Then we gotta agree on topics and terms and everything.
no, they already both agreed on the topics.
They have?
Yeah, there's 4 good
I
topics.
think
we
they
got.
should do maybe a 2 to 5 minute intro, depending on what they agree on, and then
I agree, and then we'll ask a question.
we'll do free flowing. And if they interrupt each other, then we can go to 90-second, 2-minute back and forth.
Correct, and then we have the ability.
Stupid? I don't know if stupid is the word I would use. You want my actual opinions on him? One that isn't that lackadaisical? He's not stupid. In fact, I think his wit is probably one of his biggest negatives right now. If I'm being honest with you, I think he's very witty. Stupid is not a word I would use. Why do you think stupid? What's the reason for that?
Ability to server mute as well.
Oh yeah, guys, if you want to like form
Out of touch and bland are far different than stupid, so help me out.
normalize this, go for it. Honestly, I was coming in here expecting.
Treat me like I'm stupid. Circa's fucking stupid. I need to be talked to like a girl. I mean, not a girl. That's sexist. And Grand is on ChatGPT to get his answers to me. Why can't you just type it out in a reasonable fashion, please? Well, I personally think the opposite. I think his wit is the biggest negative for him. Can you maybe think of a reason why I might think that? Because I was joking, Grand. God. Come on. Right? I know you're not using ChatGPT. I think Dean relies low expectations. Okay. I don't really like what I don't really like what he says a lot of the time. What I'm doing is something called trying to remove my intuitive cognitive biases, like we just watched a video on, and then thank you, Summer, and then giving my opinion with those trying to be tucked away. Nick Fuentes is popular because Israel is committing a fucking genocide, and he is someone who's reaffirming people who are on the fence of anti-Israel rhetoric that he is now pulling like a black hole, but not the fun physics kind, like the fucking vapid space of fucking mental thought kind. And he's finally being not exposed, but his ideas are being exposed to people who are essentially being conditioned to be anti-Jewish, okay? Especially since they're Christian. Okay, great. So Nick Fuentes is not just popular because leftists are uncharitable to young men. Leftists, I write about this in my Obsidian. I don't know if you were looking at it earlier, but I have this thing that I wrote called the problem of communication. Okay, communication on the left is what I call it. And my point of writing this was to show that academia, which is the left to a lot of people, okay, right here. Okay, academia has never tried to communicate, or the left has never tried to communicate to the general public whatsoever. Now, that is not true for the right. The right has, since the mid 2010s or early 2010s, the right, at least as we kind of know it, there's a lot of alt-right pipelines and blah, blah, but just to say the right for right now, uniquely learned how to utilize the internet faster than the left in this case. If we're going to if we're going to use the dichotomy of what the average American believes the left is, which is academic elite and elite in general somehow, institutional strengths, academic elite though. The right didn't have a lot of shelter there. So the right learned how to use the internet earlier to capture the general public. And I use the word capture there like negatively, but just think of it as more like a factual connotation. Because they honestly found less shelter in academia on a lot of ideas. And it's not because these ideas are just inherently left-leaning. It's just, we're talking about, in all honesty, some alt-left or alt-right fucking takes, like Christian nationalism or And this was around the time of like the SJW effect, where everyone was fucking tired of social justice warrior shit. I think we could include that too. If I have time, I'll try and include that. That's a good I did forget to put that in there. Although this isn't the thing about the electoral college is it is voting for one person. It's not like you're voting for laws, but the president does approve laws. But it's a little less of an argument as it relates to the electoral college, more of an argument for Congress, I think. But I might find time to put that in there. What do you think? I think that's why I didn't decide to put that as a central part. I tried to stick with the unity one because, you know, people who live in the United States have lived with this false sense of security for a very long time. You know, ever since I was born, and probably before that, no one has ever doubted that the United States was the United States. All 50 states were the 50 states up until like 2019, 2020. And the Civil War, unfortunately. Even then, it's like I almost feel like the states still felt like they were the states, even though the Confederacy split. Like the generals, you know, like if you read Robert E. Lee's writings and Ulysses Grant's writings, they all still felt as if the Union was still the Union. It was weird. Okay. Yeah, and the depth of expertise. Yeah, because we have a lot of highly specialized things that we need to get done, and generalization of those things is kind of hard to vote on properly, for sure. It's hard. But a representative and a nomination can be a solution to that in a way, because a career politician, someone who makes their life to better and like enable the country to accommodate those things, is a positive in a lot of ways. It does make it beholden to faction, is like a little bit of factionization, but nothing like mob rule or majority would do. And then it does make it slower, though. I do write in this the arguments against republicanism, which is the ability to act is significantly slowed, but the executive itself was made to account for that. And that's why the Federalist Papers talk about the executive as being a mixed federalization and a nationalization. So it's not perfect, but it's, in my opinion, the best one that in existence. Or else it wouldn't have allowed all the change that we've seen in this country. I mean, I think that truly is a testament to the entire system that we have. Whether or not it's perfect, it's certainly not perfect right now, but I'm not at the point where I think we should eat it for something that's untested, or when it has been tested, just resolves into like, you know, authoritarian dictatorships or 80 million people killed. That's not really what I want. Or two. That was fucked up. That was fucked. But energy. Did you read any of this, or do you have a take on that? I don't think Nick Fuentes is popular because of the left's lack of charitability. Energy. I really just feel as if Nick's popularity is coinciding with the fact that Israel and Netanyahu are fucking up beyond reason. And Nick is, unfortunately, someone who communicates well to the general public. And he says things that Christian nationalists, which is a growing population in this country every day, really like to hear. Okay? Really like to hear.
In a back and forth conversation.
Well,
Even though he's a
yeah,
Catholic.
no, for sure.
But I'm saying if it becomes too much interruption.
So he's just reaffirming small parts about people in order to get to them with the worst things about other stuff. Like Talmud is anti-Christian enslavement
Then
material.
we'll do time back and forth.
Yeah,
Cool.
we'll figure it out.
We don't want to hear you guys talking over each other the whole time.
Hey, hey, Nick, if you can hear me, I know how to fix your issue, bro.
Okay, what's up?
So are you using OBS Studio?
Yes.
Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and start a virtual cam. You'll see that. And what that'll do is you can basically use your webcam at the same time.
It does. It creates checks and balances across federalization and nationalization. So, without the electoral college for the executive, I think unity would fracture very quickly because the Articles of Confederation did not include a big federal government, right? The Federalists were anti-federal government in a way, but they were Federalists. They wanted the proponent of a federal government at the core. So they argued that there was a necessity for a federal government, but they were not like prolific on that. They wanted it to be as little as possible. Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson wrote all the time to each other about how much they fucking hated each other on this topic. Jefferson wanted like a national bank right away, and Hamilton's like, no, fuck you, I'm not doing that, fuck you. So there's a lot of like learning in the beginning of the country's history. So the Articles of Confederation had a problem where states were like every single fucking week threatening to leave or become a new country. And they felt that the only way to fix the unity problem that they had was with at least a semblance of a core federal government that had both of these things mixed. And I think it did its job. I really do. I think it did a good
on your
job.
stream. So it's like you can use Discord and the stream.
So far.
Make sure your virtual camera is selected to your video source that you're using on OBS.
Okay, let me see.
I'm surprised you're not banned on OBS. I'm kidding.
Hang on. Let me see. Yeah, no, I used to be. I don't know. I got a producer and now I got lazy.
That's insane.
Hang on, what is this? This is the so why isn't this working? Okay.
So click on you know what you got to do? Go to the camera icon and click the little down arrow.
This one.
Jewish tech support.
Come on, man.
That's not even bad.
Source. Oh, okay. Hang on. I think I got it. Okay, I think I got it.
Is Nick fucking retarded, bro? He's been doing this for 15 years, dude.
Sorry, guys.
No, dude, you're good. Take your time.
There we go. There we go. Okay.
All right.
We're good
Can you
now.
see?
Yes.
It wouldn't be efficient. No, it would not. That's the point. Is I actually one of my teammates made this point when I was talking to him, and I dismissed it until I was doing some really deep cut research last night, and I found a Rakov paper that talks about how the Electoral College, as I say in the end here, limits the scope of post-election proceedings. He mentions that 17 in 2020, 17 attorney generals from the Republican states tried to advance that the election was stolen, and I honestly think that the post-election proceedings without the Electoral College would be impossible. And something else that people forget, in 2020, when Trump tried to steal the election, what was the one thing that stopped him from being able to do that? What was the actual thing that stopped him from doing that? He had a plot to submit fake... What? No, he had a plot to submit fake electors, and it failed. He couldn't get by the electors. So, realistically, the thing that stopped Trump from fucking stealing the election in 2020 was the Electoral College. Like, straight up. That's what January 6th was for. It was the certification of the electorate vote. Literally, they were ratifying the electors' votes. It's when they count the electoral votes. And he delayed it, but like, ultimately, if we didn't have this, he probably could have stolen the election. Seriously. I mean, he could have just, how else would it get ratified? the post-election proceedings. So I actually changed my mind on this last night in the middle of the night. No, in fact, popular vote would have more. And I wasn't listening. I wasn't really listening that well to my teammate 2 days ago when I was talking to him about this. But like, imagine if we didn't have electors, and every single state or every single fucking Republican state said we want recounts. I mean, what do you do if the election is close and they want to recount? Do you just recount everything? And then if you only, I told him, I'm like, I'm pretty sure we could just do it by county, right? And now that I think about it more, I'm like, well, they're just going to say that the votes are actually suspected to be, incorrect, or they need to be recounted in every county, irregardless of if these counties are like 90-10. It would really throw a wrench into this, what I say in the end here. It would throw a wrench into the idea that we have limitation on the scope of the post-election proceedings that we all have agreed to already. With the Electoral College gone, that would be gone, and then we would have just no idea. The only way we could do this is if I say here, I think, and I read someone else's work, Rakov mentioned this, and I agree with him. We need to do a constitutional amendment to Article 5 to adjust so the legislative position or the legislative branch can actually create a replacement for that. Because Article 5, clause, section 10, I think is what it is, right? We need to amend Article 5 for this, so. Equal suffrage in the state. So even a national popular vote would be anti-constitutional or unconstitutional, right? And for this to even work, because Congress has the ability to, the Constitution, I don't have my Constitution next to me, but actually, you know what I can do? I can just pull up the work that I'm referring to. It's really good, like really good. Where the fuck did I put it? It's in Twitch, right? It's called Beyond Cephas. I don't know. I found this last night and I was like, wow, this is really good. I was blown away by this guy's writing. So he writes that it was section 1, clause 10 or something like that, right? Fucking O button's killing me. Article 2, Section 1 had no plenary right to force their electors to vote for their preferred candidate. And then this part. Article 1, Section 10, which says, no state shall, without the consent of Congress, enter an agreement or compact with another state, seems far from satisfactory, much less persuasive, for the MPVIC. Republicanism can also vote for something immoral, Samurai. So that would not be a good argument. Neither of these two forms of government are incapable of voting for something immoral. What we want, though, and what is also important, is the fact that the United States, the framers of the Constitution, did think about all these things, and they designed it to cohesively work together in a Republican fashion. So simply changing out parts of this engine wouldn't really work. If you just like took a different piston from a different fucking car and put it into the engine of the car you have, or like a different header that doesn't fucking fit the engine you have, it probably is not a good idea. You might want to keep your engine, even if it's battered. Correct. Now there's an appeal to consequences there, but my actual overcome, like how I can overcome that, is to show that the fact that pure democracy is not born out of republicanism. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Pure democracy, in an applicable idea, has already been tried, and it does not produce any results that are good, and that's kind of a problem. why, if it was a novel idea that we didn't have any applicable historicity to apply it to, then one could probably say I'm doing an appeal to consequences. But the truth is the consequences are and have been known for a very long time. And the consequences that we have from the Republic form of electoral college, I think, are there. And I make an effort to show that there is some. I'm going to beat them to it. But simply having a national vote is not a good enough. It's not good enough. It's a gimmick. I write that it's a gimmick in here. I think that it's not going to pass with constitutionality from the Supreme Court, even if we did get to that point. And there needs to be actual reform. Like, we need to have a true reform that comes through Article 5, and it's not a populist patchwork shortcut, is what I write. So I think that's kind of the jugular against the position they have, is this part right here, personally. It's not if this prompt was any different, the general populace makes poor and good decisions. It depends. The Electoral College should be replaced with national popular vote. If this prompt wasn't so narrow, I wouldn't be writing this way. But the prompt is impossible. The prompt is, if the prompt is not the Electoral College could be changed, the prompt is not it could be altered, it could be a mix. It is quite literally so specific in scope that if the person I'm debating tries to do any form of mixing or doesn't stick to this, I don't think they're going to win. And I don't know why you would agree to this prompt personally, but that's my true take. It's almost too narrow to actually have a position on, especially as a relationship to the US government. Because the US government, again, was designed a certain way. Even if it is a little bit wary of democracy, all the framers were like enlightened thinkers, right? Educated people who knew a lot about anthropology of like Greek and Greco-Roman period, and they were scared of pure democracy. That obviously that bias is deep into their writing and their framing, but nonetheless, the framing for it was still put the cement in place, so you can't just expect to change parts of it and it'll stay together. Correct, yeah. The argument against republicanism is that the people's will is sometimes discarded, it's slow, and it's prone to some factionalization. As in entrenched interest, which we have right now, because we have institutional safeguards that make it hard to change and reform things. That's for sure. But if you don't have that, the inverse of that is sometimes Nazi Germany. So if you get rid of this capability, if you get rid of the filibuster or like the minority position, if you get rid of their ability to counteract that in a way, you get left with populism. And if we're going to do a populist route, my whole jugular move here, right, again, my whole main strike is going to be, it must be something that is truly reformative. It cannot be simply something so unfathomably simple, reductionist, and stupid. A gimmick. It's a gimmick. It's an argument against republicanism only in the fact that it is similar to what pure democracy would still give, because pure democracy would actually make it worse, because we'd only have, 5 states now that really matter? So this is not a good argument in this context. It's a good argument to try and talk about republicanism in like its own context and then like trying to make it better. But in the argument of like whether or not national popular vote is better, I don't even think it's remotely relevant. It's probably going to introduce the fact that your own battle states are going to be worse. Because pure democracy is not a fix for that concept there. it makes it so, again, states that are low in population are essentially, or at least not a part of the immediate populative union, are worthless in how they elect the executive. So whatever the majority is, it can change, but yeah, whatever the majority is. All right. Well, I have to get off so I can take a shower, and then obviously I'll be home a little earlier tonight. I asked my work if I can come home earlier, so I can do the debate. So I'm gonna take a shower and get ready. But I hope you all have a wonderful night. Okay. I'll see you at 8 if you want to. Obviously, not like you have to watch it. God bless you as well, Samurai. And again, hope you have a wonderful night until I see you again later tonight. Yeah, one more. So one thing that does matter here is the scope of what exactly you're trying to vote for. If it's a single city, having republicanism to vote for a mayor is a little weird. There's no need for it, right? Once you start having a scope that is, I don't know where this line is, by the way. It's very much like that. When does Gaza get represented by Hamas type thing, right? Where there isn't really a fine line. It's just when the whims of public discourse and public thought tend to dictate it. And the truth is that it's kind of undefinable, but it is definable if we try and just put some boundaries. So like having republicanism for voting for the executive, which is going to then essentially represent like 50 independent countries almost, because that's kind of what every state is. They're like independent countries, is very different than a democratic form of democracy in which there's no representatives for a city. Because when you vote, you're just voting on preference. And in that way, voting impure democratically for a city is not something that's very disconnected from you. And if you expand large enough, the scope in which those preferences start to get extinguished and become replaced with like resentment and anger are really bound by where the thought of unity comes and goes. So, I mean, I don't know exactly how big the scope would need to be when republicanism might be a better alternative, but I do know that in this case, when it comes to the executive branch, it is a much better case. It is a much better system for that. If that makes sense. But yeah, I'll see you guys tonight if you're